We also look at something called an array, which is simply a representation of dots to show a calculation. So you can see this represents here 3 lots of 2, 3 lots of 2, and we use that to show how it's the same as the inverse of 2 lots of 3. So that's something that we would look at while encouraging them to secure those times tables. When we move on to formal methods, if we're looking at short multiplication, which is multiplying by a 1-digit number, we would use the formal short multiplication method. So for example, 456 multiplied by 4, set up like that, to show them that we do 4 lots of 6, or 4 times 6, which is 24, 4 ones and carry the 2, 4 times 5, which is 20, add the extra 2 that I've carried, is 22, 4 times 4 is 16, add the extra 2 is 18, and because I've got no further to carry, I would write the 18 within the answer box. Then when we move on to looking at multiplying by 2-digit numbers, or more than 2-digit numbers, we would look at using initially the grid method. Now the grid method uses the partitioning skills and partitions the amounts into a grid. So 34 becomes 30 and 4, 48 becomes 40 and 8. And then I use my multiplication and my understanding of place value to fill in the spaces within the grid. So I look at 40 times 30, well that's 4 times 3 is 12. I need to make my answer 10 times bigger because it's 30 and not 3, and 10 times bigger again because it's 40 and not 4. 4 times 4 is 16, I need to make my answer 10 times bigger because it's 40. 30 times 8, well 3 times 8 is 24, and I need to make my answer 10 times bigger, and then 8 times 4 is 32. Once I've filled in the grid section, I then would just do a column addition to work out the final answer. And this method can work with 3 digits by 3 digits, 4 digits by 2 digits, so it can be applicable in lots of different ways. Once they're confident with this process, this kind of visually explains to them why long multiplication works and how it works. So once we're happy with that, we then look at long multiplication. So for example, if we were doing 244 times 35, we talk about multiplying by the 1's digit first in the multiply. So 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 4 is 20, add the carried 2 is 22. 5 times 2 is 10, add the carried 2 is 12, which is exactly the same as when we were doing short multiplication. The only difference is that we're then multiplying by a digit in the tens column, and we would have developed some understanding of place value with the children far before we get to this point, and the concept of if I multiply by a number that's 10 times bigger, the answer will be 10 times bigger. So I need to put a 0 placeholder in my ones column to make the answer in that row bigger. So because I'm multiplying by 30, not 3, I put a 0 placeholder. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 4 is 12, add the extra 1, 13. 3 times 2 is 6, add the extra 1, 7. And then I finish with a column addition to get my answer. We'd also introduce this method with decimals, but we would encourage them to take the decimal place out, do the multiplication, and then consider our understanding of place value to put the decimal place back in it to make it that many times smaller. And that's the journey they take with multiplication.